came yesterday, including obviously another dimension, which is those who have been victimized by the jihadists in Europe. So in Europe, civil society, how many community groups have been trying to stop, or not even trying to stop, expressing their views, and have been, under violence by jihadists already in Europe and, of course, in the United States. That big ensemble was declared yesterday. It received enormous support from the communities from the Atlantic Ocean till China. Coming together, and there will be a large number of plans and projects with the U.S. government, with the U.S. Congress, duplicating and connecting with couple caucuses, and as well as the European Parliament. So I hope we're going to have a lot of information to be shared with you, ladies and gentlemen, through this caucus as well, through your group.
So I apologize for coughing. I realize my microphone was open. It's a Broadcasting 101 no-no, and so you can mark that down as the second technical faux pas on my part today. But the interview was fantastic. Folks, the main chat linked above on Facebook Messenger, I put a link there just now to the International Freedom Coalition website, which I encourage you all to go to right now and peruse. Wally Ferris, so thankful that you were able to overcome the technical hurdles that Clubhouse presented you and persevered. And this was a terrific presentation, and you're welcome here anytime that you have something to say. Just tap me on the social media shoulder and I'll set it up.
Thank you, Wally. Thank you so much. Thank you for the clarity and your commitment to tell the story to all of us.
Thank you so much for having me as a guest, and I'll be happy to come back.
We will be happy to hear from you anytime. Thank you, Wally. So, folks, you heard it from the horse's mouth, somebody who actually knows what he's talking about, unlike me, who pretends to know what he's talking about.
Not true, Gary. Come on.
But I was happy to know that he affirmed a lot of my observations. It's always good to hear that from somebody who we can trust as a source. So with that, it's your turn to speak, ladies and gentlemen. So we will start with Scott, followed by Marshall.
Yeah, can you come back to me?
Absolutely. Marshall, followed by it.
It was quite interesting. I think I found the machinations of the administration probably the most interesting part of that. He at least seemed to have an idea of what Trump was thinking. And that's more than I have, so that's nice.
Yeah, I kind of like the anecdotal aspects of his presentation where he kind of pulled the curtain back a little bit so we could see what goes on in the Oval Office in the mind of the president. I had not heard, other than from our Iranian friends who join us on a regular basis, including Alan, that this popular uprising is something that is seriously being considered. He laid out a blueprint. I don't know how accurate it is, but he's obviously closer to this because he lives and breathes it. Wouldn't that be something if there were to be a popular uprising? I think he intimated that if there was a popular uprising, it would force the hands of Congress. He didn't say that, but I think it would force the hands of Congress to fund whatever the United States feels needs funding, Marshall, whatever the president does it.
Yeah, I imagine so, yes, if it turns out that way. I worry that it's Ahmed Chalabi all over again. Ahmed Chalabi persuaded us that Northern Iraq was good, the Kurds come out, and we ended up betraying the Kurds. And so I hope what we have heard, it really does demonstrate the thought in the Oval Office. That would be very nice to hear.
You know, he says he wishes he was an advisor now to the president. And I would say the president needs an advisor such as him to properly articulate to Congress and to the public the vision, because he agreed with my frustration that this administration has not been particularly clear in articulating that, and that's what causes the pushback, I think, a lot of it that we see. One of the other things that he talked about, and I was unaware of this, and I thought I was pretty well looped in. Maybe Abby knows about this, and let me go to this one.
Okay, I'm ready, by the way, after Abby. I'm good.
Okay, sure. Abby, you missed it, but he said that in the initial prosecution of this war, the Israelis were using medium-sized drones. Every time the Revolutionary Guard or the militias set up checkpoints, they got attacked by the Israelis. Every time they turned their weaponry on the populace, killing, as we now know, more than 50,000 people, the Israelis were there pushing back at the oppressors of the Iranian people. Now, maybe the people in Iran recognize that, and maybe you are looped in to a greater degree than I am, or most of us are, with regard to this, but to me, this was news.
I didn't hear a lot of it, but I do know that the Israelis had a drone factory in Iran, that they were actually manufacturing drones there for their use. So it could have been part of that whole operation. I don't know. I definitely would like to find out. I'm gonna yield to the next person because I didn't hear a lot of what he was saying, but that one would be interesting to discover if that's where those drones came from.
Thank you, Abby. We'll go to Scott, followed by El Normo.
Yeah, Gary. Yeah, great. I hope he comes back. I mean, it's interesting to have an expert like that. I give him thumbs up. He was fantastic. Very optimistic about the United States coming on board, I thought. I was just looking up, the most optimistic polls are that 60% of the countries against the war, right? It goes as high as about 70, depending on the polling sources. So, I mean, to say that if we saw an uprising, I mean, again, I think what you were saying is and, I was just repeating you, the unlikelihood of the uprising with no guns, I mean, that's just, it's just difficult, right? I mean, it's just, when you have not just a heavily armed regime, but one that people know are not shy about using them, not shy about killing tens of thousands of their own people in a weekend. I mean, that's just a weekend at the office for these people. And again, as we noted before, I was thrilled to see all the protests at places like NYU when that stuff happened. It was wonderful. Students are very conscious of global injustice these days. But I think that's it was interesting. I thought also you contextualized Trump very well. The map stuff, right? You want to get to Trump, show real estate, and that was a very interesting insight, right? That how different presidents think and just how personality shapes people, right? Like, how the T-Bibles people versus the real estate people versus, it doesn't matter the temperament of the person in the office, not just the information we're getting, but just, the way they see the world emotionally, psychologically. That was really interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think that this is, I appreciate his optimism, right? I don't know that I share it. I don't know I don't know that where we go from here. And again, this is not to diminish a significant weakening of the conventional forces of the Iranians, right? I mean, I think we could continue probably to do that, right? I think if Congress will fund it, which again, that's another question that we have to consider as we assess where the conflict's going. But if Congress would fund it, I think we could pummel them. But as we talked before, will that bring them to their knees? And doesn't get us closer to the nuclear dust. I call it the nuclear decade. Doesn't get us. I don't know that it gets us closer to that. I don't know what the end game is here. I don't know what a victory would look like. I'm not saying there isn't one. I'm just saying I don't know what it is. Right? What is it? We talked about? Is it regime change? Is it simply détente? I mean, is it after we've pummeled them, getting to a point where this regime is demoralized enough that it will deal, that it will be less of a pariah? I don't know. These are open kinds of questions. I mean, I think the president certainly seems to believe that's what's on the other side of the game for him, of the actions they're taking right now for him, right? That they're going to buckle, and then they'll be willing to deal. And I mean, that would be great if we get a favorable deal. I mean, it's been costly. It's been costly, and I think, as we've said before, ad nauseum in this term, I think that the American people, I mean, the rallying around, this is post-Afghanistan, post-Iraq too. Post-Iraq 1, I think the American people would have been in a much different place. That's not to say that you can't bring people along, maybe, but that's certainly not Trump's skill, right? I mean, of all the skills and personality quirks and strengths and weaknesses he has, this is not in his wheelhouse, right? Bringing people along, especially the unconvinced, the middle, the possibly persuadable. That's not who Trump is, right? Trump is a go to the base, rally the base. He's not somebody that's a consensus builder. So yeah, I don't know, guys. Those are my red thoughts. Great guests. Love it when you have guests. Keep them coming, my friend.
Thank you for that, Scott. We'll now go to El Normal, followed by Emil.
Hi there. I will keep it uncharacteristically brief. This was a coup, Gary, for you and for us, and for Mr. Fares, Mr. Walid June, which is a term of affection in Farsi. What an encouraging presentation. What a great perspective. I'm delighted to hear his inside view of the solidity of our coalition, including the United States and the Gulf nations and Israel, against jihad and against the Islamic Revolutionary Genocide Corps. The Persian people are a noble and brilliant and millennia-old people with wonderful art, wonderful cinema, wonderful food, wonderful culture, wonderful music and theater that are under the heel of this oppressive, bizarre, suicidal, apocalyptic regime. They're not even indigenously from Persia, these crazy people. And they need to go, and the Persian people need to be free, as do all of the Iranian people, including the Baluchi people and the Yazidi people and the Baha'i people and everybody else they've been oppressing. And the people of the region need to be free. Lebanon, of Hezbollah, armed and funded and trained by this horrible regime. And Syria, they're already out of. Yemen, they need to leave. Iraq, they need to leave. The United States, they need to leave alone. Europe, they need to live alone. These crazy people need to go, this IRGC. And Gary, thank you for bringing this note of encouragement as we head into Shabbat. And thank you to Mr. Walid June, who took his time to share this with us. And please, many more, Gary, and let's join that coalition for freedom against this horrendous attempt at worldwide jihad. Finally, some encouragement. After the betrayal of my party, Gary, the Democratic Party, and the horrible mistakes made by Both, unfortunately, Barack Obama, for whom I voted, and Biden, for whom I also voted. How they can be so wrong-headed and so treacherous, I do not know. But let's turn it around. I'm surprised to hear how highly he spoke of President Trump, but then I am delighted to hear it. And I'm wishing us all success in this struggle against oppression. Thanks again, Gary.
Thank you for those kind words, Norm. It was tempered. He did point out diplomatically that this is not the art of the deal, buying and selling an apartment building or a hotel in New York City. You're dealing with a different type of mindset, and the president, he says the president went in and said, look, we can all win from this. And it sounds great. Anybody else would have grabbed it. It's actually a lifeline to them. But that's not how they think. And he's now the president, as Waleed told us, is now starting to understand that. And I think most importantly, when he characterized it, he basically said, not in these words, the president's getting pissed. And I think we all know what happens when the president gets pissed. And I don't think it's a pretty outcome for the people he's angry at. So let's see where this all goes. I will note that one of the things that Waleed Ferris points out is that this is not just about Iran. It's not just about Israel, as many people are trying to frame this. This is not even just about the region. This is about jihadism globally. It's a global network. And now we have formed it, I think he's at the helm of this, the International Free Coalition. There are representatives of jihadism, including Middle Christians, Yazidis, Kurds, Americans, Europeans, and other groups from across the world. This is valuable if for no reason that they may be powerful enough to take this message and re-educate people who've been led astray by propagandizing as to what we are dealing with. When, I remember during a symposium at the United Nations, and the lady's name immediately went right. This is a beautiful African woman. She was an international model who was forced into genital mutilation. And with this, describe what it's like under this fundamentalist Islamic torture of people. I got sick to my stomach, and it brought tears to my eyes. That so many women are through all of this. This is the real genocide that's going on in the world. And the lies are repeated, and we learn this during if you tell the lie over and over and over and over and over again, it becomes a truism, and people believe it. Your only real counter, we're not going to pick up arms. Norm isn't going to pick up a gun. I'm not going to pick up a gun to stop the jihadists. Our voices, all of us, whether people we associate with are oppressed, or more importantly, even if they are not, our own people are being oppressed. Our voices are so important in this fight against global jihadism, because that's what it is. And I pray that this group is successful in getting that message out. And we're not talking about unintelligent people. They're not dummyheads. Some of the people who I've written about are lovely, lovely individuals. You would think that some of the words coming out of their mouths shows that they're full of hatred. No, it's actually, for many people, their misguided commentary is motivated by concern because they don't know any better. And in our liberal society, and I don't mean politically liberal, our liberal society, we hesitate to call things out for what they are. Maybe for fear of not being fair to groups of people. Well, here's the counter argument to that. The people these human rights violations in the name of their jihadist agendas, who are they being fair to? They do not deserve our empathy. The people who suffer because of them deserve our empathy. If we as a society could redirect our attention a little bit to understanding what I just said, and I challenge anybody to show where I'm wrong about what I'm saying, I'll gladly accept the critique and acknowledge if I'm wrong, but I think everybody here knows I'm right. So, God bless him and his program. That's all I got to say. Thank you, Norm. Amir, followed by Dave.
Hey, Gary. I think you've got an intermittent connection problem on your mic, by the way. I could sort of interpolate between what you're saying, but you're breaking up quite
I know. I screwed up. I apologize. I'm going to fix it while you're talking. Go talk for a couple seconds, and I will come back, and you will be able to hear me. And some people are going to say, darn, Amir, we were doing so well not having to listen again.
Correct. Well, a great guest. Thanks for inviting Walid. That was very, very informative. That was very good. I've just got a couple of points to make before I have a little criticism to what Walid was outlining as a model or a strategy. First point about what you said, it was actually the Basijis that were hit by Israel during that the first week or so, that window that I think was the second week actually. The issue was that it was not coordinated basically. What I mean is that Trump at that time had actually asked people to stay at home. Now, had that been done during January uprising, then the whole thing would have been very different. So the timing was not coordinated. When the Basijis were hit on the corners of the streets, the people were actually asked to stay at home. So that was the flaw there. The second point that I like to make was just something that Ali said about the drone factories in Iran. She's absolutely right. They were drone factories were set up by Israel apparently, and during that I think it was a week or two that these were flown, and they were launched actually from the back of trucks within Iran, which had taken everybody with the officials by massive surprise, because they couldn't detect them coming inside from external borders. So this was kind of similar thing to the sort of what was it called, the pagers scenario exploding in amongst Hezbollah members. It was a similar sort of technique which had been worked on for years and years and years, and then it was actioned again. It was actioned at the time that it wasn't coordinated with other things. So, and then I come to my main points regarding Walid June, as El called him. Now, what was missing, I think, in his model and in the strategy he outlined was the lack of solidarity, especially amongst Iranian diaspora. I mean, we have several sort of parties which are monarchists and constitutional monarchists and royalties and so on, as well as a couple of dozens of Republican parties which do not believe in monarchy, and we have also the national parties and the lefties and the Mujahideen Khalq and so on. And there is no effort at all to sort of coordinate or form some kind of solidarity amongst the diaspora outside Iran. And this is kind of reflected inside as well. So, if you manage to do a kind of create a solidarity outside Iran, then that will reflect inside as well. And that's very, very important. In fact, you cannot really recall a modern revolution that has been successful without having a solidarity, a solid solidarity amongst the diaspora. Think about the Islamic Revolution itself. When Khomeini came to Paris, just about every single party left, I mean extreme left, these guys were, the Fadais, for example, Fadaiyan Khalq, they were the Mujahideen Khalq, what they call Benli Mazhabi. They were people who were Islamic, but they were nationalists. They were people who were 100% Islamic. All of these guys, they basically put their allegiance with Khomeini, completely aligned themselves with Khomeini, and the technocrats were the spokesperson, the spokespeople for him. That is why we actually had the Guadeloupe in January 1979 amongst the French, the Germans, the British and the Americans. That is the time that they decided to back Khomeini. And why? Because they could see the revolution is getting out of the hands of Shah, and this is the potential of the countries to go to the Russians, the Soviet Union at the time. So they thought, let's back him. Now, if the solidarity had not been there, they would not have done that. Now, that's very, very important. And this is an important lesson for Reza Pahlavi, who is claiming to be the leader for the opposition during the transition period. Now, if there is no solidarity, Trump is not going to back you. And that's very important message. And I think that is why Trump basically looked for someone within Iran to replace the current regime, rather than sort of put his chips on external, because there is no solidarity behind it. And if you look at other revolutions, more contemporary ones than the Islamic Revolution, you will see the same thing. I mean, we had the solidarity movement, the typical one in Poland, and in there, what you had the Communist Party, the Lech Wałęsa, who was the leader of the workers, this was a communist people which didn't even believe in God. They were in solidarity with the church, and Church of Poland is more Catholic than the Rome. So you can see everybody in the middle basically gathered together and gathered behind Lech Wałęsa, and that's how they managed to win that revolution. Similar sort of thing in Serbia, the Otpor movement. I remember that well because I used to be a student at the time, and they had their slogans all over the university. We have, enough. We want to live now. I think that was one of the main slogans that they had. And in Poland, they had the slogan that there is no freedom without solidarity. At the time of Islamic Revolution, we had the slogan, the Shah must go. Very simple slogan. And this is the sort of thing that you need to gather people around. And that's very, very important. In a successful revolution, you need to have the right slogan, you need to have a solidarity and a leader and a movement, and that's how you're going to succeed. And I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Amir. I was referring to Waris Dirie. She was a Bond girl, actually. But more importantly, she was an ambassador
at the United Nations against female genital mutilation for a number of years, and that's when I met her. And she really touched me with her story. I put 2 links. One, a CNN report about her story. The other, the Wikipedia write-up on her in the chat, which is linked above. Thank you, Amir. We'll go to Dave, followed by Murad.
He lists who are the jihadists. These like Hamas, ISIS, Houthis, and Hezbollah. And then he also talked about the new formation of anti-jihadists. And they are from different parts of Middle East, Europe, North America, right? So if we look at the world map right now, if we exclude the war going on between Ukraine and Russia, much of the trouble in the world right now are caused by jihadists, right? And both in Nigeria, in North, in Middle East, but and the question is, this jihadist is anti-West, anti-America, anti-Jews, anti-Zionist, right? So once we get rid of them, we get rid the root of the problem, and we will have world peace. And the way how these jihadists work is, when they look at the map, they infiltrate the left, right? Many left are infiltrated by this. And we see this in what the Walid say, right? And also what El Norma say, right? He was, El Norma regretted that he voted for Obama, voted for Biden, and he said treacherous, right? So this is why we see when Trump come back second term, he fired a lot of people. And potentially these are infiltrated by the ideology of jihadists. And so basically, once we are clear that jihadist is the root of anti-world peace, and now we are anti-jihadist, we are talking about the beginning of the end of anti-world peace. So we have to help the left to wake up from all the indoctrination, infiltration by jihadists. And by doing so, we will end up an important step to, lasting world peace. And the Ukraine and Russian war will just a matter of time. But the root of all problem right now in the world, anti-Jews, anti-Zionists, all these are the root of jihadists. And they infiltrated the left.
Hello.
You have to wait your turn, Miriam. Thank you, Dave. We'll go to Murad, followed by Nasser.
Thank you, Gary. Gary, unfortunately, I lost the precious speech of Mr. Forrest, but I try to speak to the point about the strategy. Gary, my heart is deeply saddened by 50,000 Iranians slaughtered by the Iranian regime in the past, and in the past few days, this pain has been renewed. The 4 young American soldiers killed in Jordan by the brutal Iranian regime brought tears to my eyes, especially the innocent eyes of Isabella Gonzalez. But yesterday we had two beautiful twin sisters in Iran, 20 years old, who were executed by this regime in Isfahan. But this is about the strategy. In my opinion, the further we go, the more deranged the Iranian regime's strategy will become, a regime with a sick ideology that instills in its people that I am the successor to the promised savior, and perhaps in the rightful place where I am sitting, the promised savior will appear this Friday to help you and me, so I see no obstacle to bomb Doha, Dubai, Kuwait, Manama, Riyadh. Even if the US military soldiers enter Bandar Abbas, I will shell the citizens of Bandar Abbas and American soldiers together with a clear conscience. In contrast, President Trump recently confirmed my claim in his words. We have not yet shown the Iranian regime anything. We have not shown the Iranian regime anything. Let us not forget that the United States even has technologies that it has stored for the next 50 years to unveil. This is a step-by-step work by the United States. The Abraham Lincoln is grinning on the deck and lower decks on the IRGC's speedboats. Just a Musk team is capable of disabling the entire IRGC's communication equipment. What is Trump's strategies that tolerates this regime animalistic nature to such an extent? I think that this war will continue for various reasons in the next 18 months until America being a state of severe war and ultimately with a glorious victory. On severe war status, the US Supreme Court is convinced to keep Donald Trump in power and postpone the presidential election due to war conditions. But now let us all get past the Democrats and maintain our unity for the victory of freedom over terrorism. That's what I wanted to tell you, Gary. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, you had me until you talked about the possibility of suspending the elections because we didn't suspend elections during previous wars. There's no way we're going to be, I hope, suspending elections this time. I
We're not going to
apologize.
suspend elections. We held elections during the midst of the revolution, during the midst of the Civil War. We will hold elections, come rain or hot water.
But I want to ask also, Murad, have you heard that the Rahimi girls actually have been executed? Because the latest I heard is that they were tried in a kangaroo court, I think as recently as yesterday. But they and the 14 other people who were also tried, there were fears that they would be executed, but I have not been able to find anything that shows that they have thus far. Do you have information that I have not been able to find?
I saw on Instagram yesterday the news of execution of those twin sisters.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to hold off until we know for sure. Maybe it happened. I hope not. I will read you this paragraph so that people know to whom we are referring from Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. And again, if I cough, I apologize. I don't know where this cough came from. Anyway, here's what they write. 16 people are facing charges connected to protests in the Iranian city of Isfahan in January, during which a colonel in Iran's Revolutionary Guard was killed. Rights defenders are raising concerns about the legitimacy of the case, including the charges against two young twin sisters, 20-year-old Tarena and Romina Rahimi. Sources in Iran told RFE-RL's Radio Farda, I think that's a Farsi broadcasting entity from Radio Free Europe, that authorities use torture to extract confessions from the defendants, and there are concerns that they might face the death penalty.
Maybe they have already, and the word has not made it to the media as of yet. Let's pray that they have not. Horrible. Thank you, Murad. The real genocide is against their own people in Iran. More people killed in a 2-month period than 2 years in Gaza. Think about that. And who's being called a war criminal? Nasser, followed by Miriam. Nasser.
Are you talking?
Sorry, my microphone was not opening.
That's okay. I think a lot of people are suffering little technical glitches today. It's okay.
Yeah. Yes, thanks, Gary, for the time and letting me to speak on this stage. And hello, everyone in the room. For the first and foremost sentence that I'm gonna refer to as the President Trump's recent words about people who are asking the foreigners or the foreign countries to bomb their own country. He says, I hate people who want their own country bombed. They're such stupid and idiot people. So unfortunately, we are dealing with those type of Farsi-speaking so-called Iranians, who unfortunately there are my country's people, and they come to your stage and they justify the war against their own country and their own people. Shame on them.
What are you talking about? No, sir. What are you talking about?
Oh, Miriam, you gotta wait your turn.
I'm also from Iran.
I know you are, and I want to hear what you have to say. But I will now, because this is our protocol, ask the same question. Nasser, what the hell are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about people who are justifying strikes and attacks to
Miriam.
Yeah.
Let me handle it, okay? Please? I'm the moderator, not you.
Gary,
Nasser, go ahead.
I don't even want to talk to these kind of people.
Well, either you're gonna explain yourself, which I'm giving you the form.
Which kind of people?
Miriam, please.
I don't want to talk to traders.
Nasser,
these people are traitors to their own homeland.
Do the Iranian people who come here feel like they have to take over the moderation of the room, no matter their position? Do you want to take over? Do you want me to give you a hat? Nasser, do you want to run the room?
No, I don't.
Okay. Miriam, do you want to run the room?
No, not sir.
Okay. Okay. Wait your turn. Please. I don't think it's asking a lot. Nasser, please try to explain what you're saying, because I am as confused by your position as is Miriam, although I may not yet be as disgusted as her, but I'll give you the opportunity to bring me to that point. Go.
Yes, please don't let the people interrupt my words.
I'm not letting them interrupt your words. I'm asking you for your words.
Okay, please. Because when someone interrupts me, all those...
I don't want you to talk about how the room is run. I want to hear your point. Get to the point, please.
Okay, my point is, first of all, as an Iranian, and most of the Iranian people inside Iran, we haven't given any power of attorney to U.S. and the Israeli government, IDF and
Have
U.S.
you given
Army.
power to the regime that's killing people by the tens of thousands?
Now you are interrupting me.
I am moderating, Nasser.
I know, but...
Okay, so as the moderator, as the person running the room, I'm having a dialogue with you.
Okay.
Okay? Did the people of Iran authorize the Islamic Republic of Iran's mullahs and the Revolutionary Guard and the Basij to kill over 50,000 people in 2 months?
First of all, the number 50,000 people is a big propaganda that...
Okay, say Mariam followed by Soren.
Sir, You're lying like a bitch.
See, did I handle it okay, Mariam?
Yes, you did.
Okay, go ahead with your point now.
No, I don't want to, because he's so fucking...
Everybody who heard him knows that was bullshit propaganda coming out of his mouth.
This
Everybody
is a
knows that.
bullshit
No.
idea.
Right. Go ahead with your point that you initially wanted.
He just doesn't recognize that people were died. People that I know were died. And he's just saying, no, these were like people that we don't know who they were.
Right, but you didn't come up to the stage to talk about him.
I'm talking about the real realization that I have seen with my own eyes. Are you serious? What's your point?
What's your point, please, Miriam? When you first came up to the stage, this was not in your mind. Please tell us what was in your mind. I'm anxious to hear what you have to...
My point is that for the decades, this Islamic regime has ruined our life for ever and ever. Like, from the beginning, when I was like a little kid, they ruined our life. They just implanted something in our mind that it's not true. Like, death to America, death to Israel, death to whatever. And this man is actually the same people that I am very scared of, because they are saying the same thing right now in front of my eyes. Even after 47 years, they are saying the same things. And it's not okay. You should not allow them to talk at all, because they are fanatics.
Right, but Miriam, people have to reveal themselves to me. And as you saw, the minute the nonsense came out of his mouth, he was shut down. So you trust me. I'm not going to allow for that kind of propagandizing here. Not on this, not here. Maybe on other rooms on Clubhouse, or if he wants to open his own room on Clubhouse, he could do that.
I don't even know him. I'm telling you, I know his mindset. This is the people that say this to America.
Okay, did you listen? I'm going to try one last time.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, did you listen? No. Wait, Miriam, I'm going to ask you a specific question, if you don't mind, please. Did you listen? Did you hear to listen to Walid Ferris, and what did you think about what he...
He's saying bullshit.
Walid Ferris said bullshit too? How so?
All bullshit.
What did he say that was bullshit? One thing.
I actually don't want to comment on that.
All right. If you're gonna accuse somebody of saying bullshit on the stage, and then I ask you what it is that you object to, I think you're obligated, since you made the accusation, to explain what upset you about what he said. Because if he misled us in any way, and you have knowledge that he did, then we would appreciate it if you had taken the opportunity when presented to set the record straight, but you just lost that opportunity. And hey, this is the group who listened to him, so this is the group who you should want to hear your voice, and I don't know why you did not take advantage of that. But I will move on to Soren, followed by Philip.
Look, I'd like to start. Sorry to interrupt. Just 1 second. Gary, I think you misunderstood. She was actually talking about the previous speaker.
She was not listening carefully to me then, Amir. Soren, it's your turn.
Look, I'd like to start with sending the condolences to the families of innocent schoolgirls just recently.
I know, I feel the same way. Thank you for expressing your condolences. Philip, followed by him.
Hi, thank you so much, Gary. You know, I really appreciate the way that you give all sides, an opportunity to speak and try and understand what the truth is. And the truth is not easy to find, of course. I am concerned though, because I've heard several speakers in the room, including yourself, say that 52 or 53,000 people were executed by the Iranian regime. And I'm just wondering if you actually have fact-checked that, because it's not a completely verified true statement. According to the Iranian regime, around 3,000 people have been executed.
Hey, wait a minute. Hold on, Philip. Are you going to go by the numbers that the perpetrators give?
No, of course not. I'm just saying they say. They say around 3,000, and they say 53,000 people have been detained. But I mean,
no. If you read Time magazine, if you read Iran International, if you read the reporting of various different news organizations, if you read the independent verifications from a number of human rights activists, of course their numbers are going to be higher than the official regime figures. You are absolutely correct in saying the regime, the people who actually pulled the trigger, claim that they killed over 3,100 people because they were rioters and foreigners who interfered in the internal workings of Iran. Now, you can perhaps counterbalance the 50,000 figure with the Iranian figure. I would say probably the truth is somewhere in between the two, and I would give more credence to the outside observers who are trying, and of course it's going to be unverified. Who's your source? You want to verify how many people are dead? Normally you go to the government. When a plane crashes, you go to the cops and you say, how many people died in the plane crash? That's verifiable. But when it's the government killing the people, you have a closed society, of course the numbers are unverifiable. But it's on the low end, they're saying 30,000 to 36,000 people in a 2-day period only. January 8th through the 9th were killed.
I appreciate you sort of clarifying and justifying, that's...
I'm not justifying, I'm just saying that what credibility is there in what the Iranian government tells us about the number of people who were killed? How can you go there?
I want to see you as a kind of a credible source, and not saying simply as a fact that 53,000 people have
Okay, I will put it this way. Credible news organizations have quoted higher numbers on the number of people who were killed. The more moderate number that is being used by Time magazine and Iran International is that 30,000 to 36,500 people were killed in a 2-day period, and this was verified. That's all the numbers that they could verify, in spite of an internet blackout. So if you want to argue, no, it wasn't 36,000, it was 35,000, or it was 30,000, or it was 20,000. I'm going to quote Hillary Clinton. What difference does it make? They still perpetuated a genocide on their people. If in your country, your government killed, quote unquote, only 3,100 people who were protesting over a 2-day period, would you say, it's only 3,200?
No, of course not. I said
okay, so why do you even bring it up?
Because I don't like to hear misinformation in this room.
Well, it's not misinformation. It
is if you state as a fact that 53 or allow other people to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to rewind, and I would ask, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, to disregard when I said 50 to 52,000 people were killed. And I would like you to readjust your thinking to believe that what I said, the proper wordage that I should have used, and Philip is exactly right, 50,000 people were reportedly killed. That is accurate.
And then my last point is just you can't fight fire with fire, and violence begets violence. So give peace a chance.
Okay, that's good. When the guy is pointing a gun at me, and he's gonna kill me, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sing, all we are saying is give peace a chance. Amir.
Phillips.
Remember how they clapped during that song? I'm still clapping because I can't remember the rest of the words.
Yes, you did very well. I think Philip's comment, if we were to follow his line, I think the world would be ruled by the Hitlers of our time. It's very simple. That you cannot just have peaceful, without when a person against you is about to kill you. Anyway, that's that point. So that's just a romantic nonsense, if you don't mind me saying, Philip. So my point, 2 points about the speaker Nasser that came here. I just wanted to mention that I have come across people like Nasser quite a lot. They basically fall into two categories. The first category is the NIAC, is a very famous National Iranian American Council. They are funded by the IR. I'm not suggesting that Nasser is, by the way. I mean, you can give me thumbs down, thumbs down all day, Nasser, but that's a fact. NIAC is funded by the Islamic Republic, and they are lobbyists at the Congress, and they're very well, very well placed people. I mean, these guys work at top companies, top multinationals in America as well. So they have a lot of influence. So beware of NIAC, National Iranian American Council. That's the first category. The second category are basically the people, Iranian people on the left, who are prepared to sacrifice the country and the people for their fight against imperialism. And they see America as the arch enemy. They're the same people who supported Saddam against America, the same people who supported Gaddafi, and anyone who rises against capitalism and imperialism, these guys come into the arena. And he cannot fall out of one of those two groups. Is either that or is directly being funded by Islamic Republic. I reject both of those, except the fact that he is very much on the left, and he is prepared to sacrifice Iran and the Iranian people for his ideology, which is dead against capitalism and imperialism. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Amir. Mariam, I brought you back up to give you a second opportunity, but please speak to what I asked you about what Walid brought to the table today. Walid, the guest.
Sir, I have not been listening for the past half an hour. So
Okay.
So let me listen a little bit so I know what are you talking about at the moment. Okay.
Okay. Well, it's the end of the show for the week, but we're on this.
Is that okay for you?
We're on that. That's okay, but it's the end of the show for the week. But this is the kind of thing that we talk about every day almost here in the Critical Thinking Forum. So I invite you to come back. Folks, we are here Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock New York time. So until 5 o'clock New York time on Monday, for the next edition of the Critical Thinking Forum, everyone be well, and as John Lennon and Yoko Ono would tell us, peace out.
That's what's up. Awesome. I don't know who Fahim is. Will, you want to come up? Are you still?
Okay, so first of all, know the definition of whataboutism. Whataboutism was if I'm bringing something to avoid your criticism, and then no, I'm answering your criticism.